Hello, everybody. Give me 2 minutes, and we're just setting up at the moment. Give me 2 minutes, guys. Grab yourself a drink, put the kettle on, whatever you're doing, and we'll be with you shortly. Right, we're here. We're just setting up now. For those of you who haven't heard about this, now this story, I've never looked into this fully. I've heard about it. I think most of us have, but we're going to have a good look into it tonight. And we found Jane has found the original recording. We found the original call. Now, this person, we're going to get into the basics of it first. I'm going to give you a rundown about it, and then what we're going to do then, um, we're then going to listen to the call. But I'm going to, before we go into anything of that, we're going to just explain a little bit about it. Now, Jane is going to be joining us shortly. Hello, Jane, my love. I just want to say hello to everybody. We've got 48 watching. Thank you, everyone that's here. Big up to our channel members. You have no idea how grateful I am to you. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. Jane, if you don't mind, would you drop the membership link for me, please, in case anybody else wants to join? Hello, Shona. Shona's in Portugal. See you all properly next week. So Ellen's here. Hello, my darling. Ellen sent me some really interesting today as well. I might make a video on that, Ellen, love. We've got Mima's in as well. We've got all the members are coming in. Thank you, members. Amethyst. And then we've got MK Ultra, Sing Blue Silver. We've got a Glenn. Glenn, I need to uninstall that. I can't listen to your I need to sort Skype out basically. Scott Space Cat's in the house. Kev, hello Kev, how you doing? Who else we got? Sing Blue Silver, Nanny, another member. Thank you so much, love. So we've got 50 people watching Cosmic Wartoad. Right. So anyone that Glasgow Dave, big up. Anyone that hasn't heard about this story, we're going to go through it a little bit first before hello Lynn's love. So I'm just going to grab this up now, so just bear with me a sec, and then we're going to look at the actual story about it. So I'll do a bit of explaining first, and then we'll have Jane up. Jane's going to come up and help. But just let me know, give me a 1 in chat. And if you're watching on the replay, please join in and give me a 1. But if you do timestamp it, it does help because there might be other ones. Give me a 1 in chat if you've actually heard about this story. It just helps me know who, if it's the blind leading the blind, because I have heard about it. Oh, thank you, Raz. I have heard about it, but I haven't looked into it deeply like we're going to do tonight. So Terry Knowles has heard about it. 2 if you haven't. I can't really do a 3 if you don't know, because you either have or you haven't. It's one of them, isn't it? So we've had all 1s at the moment. Julius hasn't. We didn't put a 2, but we'll let him off just this once. Hawkeye has. Carlos. Amethyst hasn't. Ellen hasn't. Mima hasn't. Bridget has. Sing with Silver has MK Ultra Goss. There's too many to call out now. BFG. Trolls. Chang 7. Glenn. Lynn's hasn't. So we've got a good mixture then. We've got a very good mixture. So this is going to be, hello Jenna, hello Space Cat, hi Spirits, hello Raz. So there's a good mixture tonight. We've got quite a few that has and quite a few that hasn't. I say it's about 50-50. Hello Herman the Tosser, hello Ann City Farm, how you doing my lovely? BFG says Alan Edge. So what we're going to do then, I'm going to give you a brief overview about this. I only know the basics of it, but we're going to do a live research night. So we're going to find it out together, the story of this, and we're going to listen to the original phone call, which you'll understand what that is in a moment. So let's just grab this article up. To give me a sec. Now, if you look at fact check, the fact checkers are going to say, you know, it's lies, but the fact checks say that everything's lies, including things that we know are fact, you know, like the older prickaroo and so on. So, and I will be doing at some point, I will actually be doing a show on the fact checkers and who funds them. Okay, so I will be doing that. Right, so we're just going to grab this article up here. So give me a sec. I'm a lot better than I was, but I'm still not right. So my voice will keep going. I'm going to do some basics on it, and then Jane's going to come and help. Welcome in 72 watching. Please hit the like or the dislike. It's going to pop a little banner up quickly. Now, when we've got to the end of this, we can then decide whether we believe it or not, you know, because it's one of these down the rabbit holes, fact or fiction nights. Now, I used to do these a couple of years ago. Some people who have been with me for a long time, like Ellen and Bridget Blaine, will know that we do these. Now, when we've done this show, if you enjoy it, these like the live research, we go down the rabbit hole live together, rather than me do a load of research and make and edit a video. We do it live. So literally, I'm doing the research that I would be doing for a video, but we just do it together live, and it makes it a little bit more fun, and it's interaction. And a lot of people used to enjoy these, and I don't even know why I stopped doing them, but there you go, I did. So at the end of this stream, if you're watching on the replay or here, our Amethyst, isn't he? Let me know if you enjoy it. You take his dinner in because it stinks. Thank you. So this is the story of the Kandahar giant. So we've got a big mixture. Hello, Willie. Hello, Candice, my lovely. Thanks for being a member, my darling. And big up the members. 77 watching. Illuminati confirmed. Hello, lovely jubbly. Hello, everyone. I've missed you coming in. I apologise. I can't do all my hellos. Hello, Dick Turpin, but I can do my best. But I will miss some. Okay. So this story originates in Iraq. Excuse me. The real story of the Kandahar giant. It was a 13-foot cryptid, purportedly killed by US Special Forces. So hello, Rach. Hello, Stephen. So this is the story. Basically, what happened was somebody called in. I can't while I'm live, Dave. I can't do that because I've got to focus on what I'm doing. If you've got any questions, Jane's in the chat to help. Jane, until I call you up, darling, would you be able to like help in the chat? Hello, Lottie, my lovely. The membership is $4.99 a month. But I am going to be giving some more away. I think I've got some to give away tonight. I think if I have, I'm going to give some away tonight. So there'll be 5. If you get a free membership, you get a free month, and then you can renew it if you want, or it'll just end. Wow, Alan actually met a giant on holiday. Hello, Tyrone. They just called me. No, really, Jane? Wow. Okay, big up Tyrone in the house. There's some crazy shenanigans going on, isn't there? Memorial Gardens, Nathan Penn. Okay, hello, Diane. Thanks for being a member. Right then, so in 2002, a tactical elite team was said to have killed the Kandahar giant. Right, I'm not going to look at chat, so Jane's going to help. Jane, if that's okay, because I'll get distracted. And then Jane will come up in a bit, if that's okay. Excuse me. In 2002, an elite tactical team, this is the claim, okay? This is the claim, was said to have killed the Kandahar giant, a 13-foot tall beast with flaming red hair, 6 fingers on each hand, and 2 sets of teeth. How'd you have 2 sets of teeth? They must be like above the other. I don't know. So in August 2016, a YouTuber posted a lengthy interview. Now, the YouTube channel was Coast to Coast. He wasn't exactly a YouTuber. He's been going for years, decades, but he does have a YouTube channel. So he posted a lengthy interview with a military contractor identified only as Mr. K. So the story had been flying around, right, that this thing happened. And even before 2002, there have been sightings of this giant in Kandahar. This isn't the first time the giant was ever heard of. He's been there's actually a photo on my thumbnail is an alleged photo of the giant. So we'll get into that as well. But this call came in and it was a military contractor. Mr. K claimed to have been present during the brutal slaughter of a killer he called the Kandahar giant. Now, if this is true, this is typical American military, isn't it? It's just shoot first. And this isn't offensive to the Americans because there's been many a times when they've friendly fired the Brits. And you know, it does happen, but at the end of the day, better to be safe than sorry. I get that. But you do see it in movies as well, where they say, "Oh, the Americans will always shoot the aliens first and whatnot." And apparently, they killed it. Now, I personally wouldn't have killed it. You would have thought that they would have captured it or stunned it, or just left the thing alone and studied it. But apparently, they did kill it. So I probably offended all our American friends now. So apologies for that, because I love you. Right then, the killing of the giant, he said, took place during the height of the operation. So I'm not going to read all of this because we're going to listen to this call. But I'm just giving you a little bit of information. Apparently, it killed one of the Special Force soldiers with a spear before the rest of the unit brought it down with 30 seconds of sustained gunfire. So apparently that's why they killed it, because it killed one of them. So that's fair enough. So we are learning this together. This is a live research, and I only know bits of this, so we're blind leading the blind here. And after they radioed it in, the army took away its corpse and has hidden it ever since. Maybe that's what they've got to Area 51, or there's Area 52. Who knows? We just think it's little men from outer space, but maybe it's actually other things. And I genuinely believe in giants. I really do. Where do you think the giantism gene comes from? And the dwarfism gene. I reckon there's little midget like pixie people as well. And all these things, I do believe in it, and we've been taught that it's silly, but I do believe in it, and I also believe in Middle Earth as well. That's going to be our second Down the Rabbit Hole, by the way, podcast, the new season for 2024. We're going to be investigating. We're going to be looking at subjects I've never looked at before. That's what we're going to be doing, and we're going to be looking at Middle Earth and the stories of it. Any people that think that they've been there, that they've seen it, that's going to be part 2. And part 3 is going to be Mel's hole. And then we're going to be seeing if anybody else has got any holes. But anyway, I'm drinking my tea, so I'm just having a quick sip of tea. One sec. Oh, it's a bit hot. Thank you, Mr. Bunny. So then high up in the mountains, this unit came across a cave with scattered equipment around, but no sign of the missing soldiers. And that's when they chanced upon the Kandahar giant. So what had happened was they were looking for their group. They went missing whilst on patrol in a remote mountain region of Kandahar in the south of Afghanistan. When they failed to make contact, they sent a special ops team in. So they had a unit go missing of just, I think, regular army, though the branch of the armed forces they belonged to was never confirmed, so it could be some sort of dark op team. Then high up in the mountains, the unit came across a cave with scattered army equipment around, but no sign of the missing soldiers. And that's when they chanced upon the Kandahar Giant. So I don't know whether they found the dead bodies. We're going to read on. Again, I'm learning a lot of this with you. I'm just going to pop the link in as well. If you're watching on the replay, and the link to this page that I'm reading right now is in the live chat. The live chat replay will be there. I'm not seeing any chat, by the way. So Jane is here. Trusty Jane is here. She's going to be joining me shortly, though. But she's here at the moment. Any questions? And Ellen's here as well. And we've got some managing mods in, I think. I hope some more. Right. So the tail grows with the telling. Some reports suggest that the humanoid creature, as tall as 15 feet, this red-headed giant with 6 fingers, leather moccasins, and smelling like dead bodies. Can you imagine, though? People don't realise when when they say about Bigfoot and giants and so on, how much these things would stink, because as humans, as modern humans, we're just used to washing ourselves. Can you imagine cavemen and women? They must have reached to high heaven, but that would be normal to them. So apparently stunk like dead bodies, suddenly emerged from the cave and impaled one of the soldiers with a spear. So also remember when Paz said that he's seen a Bigfoot in Canada, in the mountains of Canada. The first thing that he noticed before he actually seen it was the stench. So, reports of the smell do coincide with other with other reports of before you see them, you smell them. And that's when the soldiers opened fire, ultimately felling the giant with 30 seconds of continuous fire. So you can understand then. So you've got a whole team have vanished, and then he's just killed one of their special ops. So I can actually understand why they killed it now. It's not very American to run away, is it? Between them, the squad was armed with full auto M4 carbines, recon carbines, semi-automatic, and M107 Barrett anti-material rifles firing 50 BMG, reads one report. This much firepower concentrated on one target for 1 second, let alone 30, would be extremely destructive. After the troops killed the giant, they loaded it onto the Chinook helicopter, which carried it to the transport plane, where no one ever saw it again. The soldiers were forced to sign non-disclosure agreements so the government could keep them all quiet. Did they ever find the missing group, though? But eventually, the soldiers broke their silence because, as one of the men would later say, the people have a right to know. So they were looking for this missing squad of soldiers, but it doesn't say anywhere here whether they actually found it. So I'm guessing they were all murdered then. So I'm going to read on some more and then we're going to listen to the call. Please hit the like if you're enjoying the content, or the dislike if you don't. Anyone that's coming in, we are talking about the Kandahar Giant, and I've heard about it, I've touched upon it, but I've never done a full research into it. So this is it tonight. So, in August 2016, Snopes. Now, we know Snopes. Now, again, I'm going to be doing a research into who funds the fact checkers and who fact checks the fact checkers. The fact checkers are a waste of time. They are a disinformation network. But we're going to go along with this, okay? So Snopes reached out to the Department of Defense about the Kandahar Giant incident. The Department of Defense told the outlet in no certain terms that they had no record of information about a special forces member killed by a giant. What's more, there are no press release on the Department of Defence's website involving either a special forces troop disappearing in Afghanistan or of any incident involving this. But there's not going to be, is there? Of course, with any good conspiracy, this lack of evidence isn't sufficient to prove that the myth of the Kandahar Giant doesn't exist. In fact, Snopes' debunking of the legend, there we go, has had quite the opposite effect in certain cryptid spaces which claim the government is trying to hide the truth from the public. So you've got a brief overview now of what happened. Jane did find the original call. Now, I can't find the coast to coast version. I'm going to have a really quick look before we play this version. Luckily, Jane is on the case. Jane is also not only is she a good co-host, she's also a brilliant researcher. So just give me 1 sec. I'm going to have one more look because apparently the call was quite long. So just give me a sec, guys. Grab yourself a cuppa or whatever it is you're doing. Oh no. Oh, Ricardo's just been and Al's just sent me a photo. All the eggs are broken. Ridiculous. Not one or, the whole lot. Fucking hell. It's not like Ricardo, that. Turned up early as well. Just wants to get home, doesn't he? Right. There's a lot of videos on here on YouTube, but the problem is with it is that a lot of them, they're just talking over it. And that's the issue. They're going to copyright us. I'm looking for the original call. Jane found the original call, but it's on another website. I think I might have it. Right, I think I've got it, guys. Just bear with me. Yeah, so I'm finding lots and lots of. I've got some of the original call from Jane, but I'm looking for the full original call into Coast to Coast. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to. We're going to play this one, but just to make you aware that this is somebody else's video, so they might copyright us. Hopefully they won't. So the guy's going to be talking first. So basically, this military consultant person, he called into Coast to Coast. Now, if anyone's heard of Coast to Coast, it's like a conspiracy call-in show that has been going for decades. I think it was actually China where the tea started. I'm just catching the chat. So thank you to Jane for this. Now, I'm going to link this. So big up to the person who posted this. Thank you. Big up, big up. Hopefully you won't copyright us, but I am going to have to keep pausing it. There's the link to this video I'm about to show. You've had the link for the article that I'm showing, and we're going to listen to some of this call. This is a separate interview. Oh, is this not the original call, Jane? It was a call-in show. I think it was during the 90s, but it's still going. It's still going. So this isn't the original interview, Jane. If anyone has got the original interview, let me know, which is what I'm looking for. It would be really good to have a copy of it. I'm just going to see whether there's anything on their channel. I don't think they even had a YouTube channel then. No, their YouTube channel only goes back a year. So they didn't have a YouTube channel back in 2016. So it was the call in. It's the original guy who called Coast to Coast. Right, okay. So we're going to listen to this. And I'm going to have to keep on stopping and starting because obviously this guy might not like it. If he does copyright strike me, I will counter. and I will win because I'm using this under fair use and I'm transforming it because I'm pausing. Two soldiers, this is apparently. It's not the original call.
Hello guys. Today we will listen to the original 2 interviews with the Special Forces soldiers done by L.A. Marzulli.
Guys.
One of them had personally seen, attacked and captured the Kandahar Giant in Afghanistan with a team of military troops. The other soldier recounts the story he heard about the Kandahar Giant while serving his duty in Afghanistan. Keep in mind, we have done a video to explain the difference between Nephilim and giants. The correct term to address that Kandahar giant is actually Rephaim.
You were in Afghanistan in 2002, and you were called in.
So this is Mr. K. This is the guy. This is the voice of the guy that called in the contractor in 2016. This is his voice now. Okay.
To a very remote section of Afghanistan because a patrol had basically gone missing.
Exactly.
Okay.
There's
no
no
villages
around, nothing.
for miles.
Right.
So very remote.
Yeah, very remote. So we flew in. Did about 4 kilometers. We're hiking through the same area where they were supposed to make one of their checkpoints, one of their rally points. And before we left, there was all kinds of what happened with an ambush. But that was even odd because at point of ambush, you call for maybe close air support, something. Okay.
This guy's
no calls made. Just often.
Jane. It's just too annoying. Hold on. What does anyone think? Can anyone put up with that? Hello, J Craft. Quite annoying, isn't it, that music? Anyone else? If anyone's got the original calling, that'd be great. If not, we will play that, but it is quite an annoying. Why they have to do this? It's so they don't get struck, but it also kind of like ruins the entire call. Give me a 1 in chat if you want me to continue with that, with the music, or if you want me to start looking and see if I can find anything else. Because that's what we're going to be doing in this next the next few episodes as well. We're going to be looking into calls into coast to coast. No, says John. Oh gosh, just says no. It was inaudible. It's got it will be blurred. The talking fast speed's just going to make it worse. Yeah, I thought so, Bridget. Just bear with me, guys. If you watch on the replay, we're going to be taking a short break. So if you want to fast forward a few minutes, you can. If you're watching live, feel free to go and put the kettle on or whatever it is you do. Pour yourself a stiff one. Go and put the washing machine on. Go and feed the dog or let the cat out. Whatever. Go and do your things and we'll be back in a few minutes while I do some research. Jane, if you could also have a look as well, please, my love.
Sitting at my mom's house. We had just wrapped up a meal. She came over, sat next to me. Killed one U.S. service member with a spear, only to be vanquished by the rest of the unit courtesy. What is it about it that is so captivating? I think it's just really fun and kind of outlandish, but it's just a fun kind of thing to think about.
2002.
Of the cave. There's a cave.
You see something coming out of the cave.
This is a monster right here. In his hair.
Suddenly emerged from the cave and it
I'm still here, by the way, guys.
You were in Afghanistan in 2002, and you were called.
So it looks like the original call-in to Coast isn't anywhere because YouTube didn't have a YouTube channel at the time. But since then, there has been Mr. K has come forward and given an interview, which is what we were just listening to. It is a shame that if there would have had to have been somebody recording it. Like I said, they Coast didn't have a YouTube channel back then. So it was just a call into, there's probably more than one person who's got that call who would have recorded it. So what's happened is there's been a follow-up interview with this Mr. K, and that's what we were just watching. But it looks like everywhere we go, there's music. So we're going to have to put up with the music. So just give me a sec. Unfortunately, very frustrating for me as well, guys, because we thought we'd found it. So, right, let's get this show on the road. Apologies for the delay, guys. Hello, Texas. How you doing, mate? Good to see you. I'll put the link in soon for Jane. 82 people watching. I appreciate that people are bored now. And I apologise for this. I would have thought that Coast to Coast would have uploaded it to their own channel at some point. If I find this, right, I will obviously do a part 2. So so far the story is really, really interesting, isn't it? I can believe it. I really can. Once we've heard this interview, we're then going to start doing a bit of a deeper dive, and we're going to be looking into if we can find any documents. So if we can literally find any sort of documentation anywhere, what the official, we can find the official response to Snopes, and we can have a look at that. So we're literally trying to find any paper trail of anything. So it looks like I found it, but again, there's a little bit of music to it. But we're going to have to put up with it, okay? So here we go, guys. Right. It sounds a bit better anyway. And then we're going to look deeper into the story. So whoever this is, I'm going to share their link because obviously I'm using their work under fair use. And they've used it off somebody else. Okay.
too.
of the cave. There's a cave.
You see something coming out of the cave.
This is a monster. Red beard, then his hair was long past the shoulder.
Like veterans of any military conflict, those who serve
The voice you can hear that's muffled, that is clips of the original call, okay? The original call when it came in was muffled like that. So what they're showing you there, Mr. K must have come forward and gone on camera. But when it first happened, the call, 8 years ago now, it was muffled to protect his identity.
served in Afghanistan had both shared and unique experiences to reflect upon. But in the video that we have for you today, we want to bring your attention to an issue that is more otherworldly. We're talking about the giants of Afghanistan, beings from the past and undiscovered lands who have allegedly been observed outside US military bases. Army officers have recounted accounts of entire troops going missing in the mountains of Afghanistan in the early 2000s, only to locate their equipment in a mystery cave with no soldiers to be found anywhere else. What is the story behind the giants of Afghanistan and how US soldiers confronted these giants? Stay with us until the very end to learn of all the strange stories that surround these gigantic creatures. Giants loom large throughout world mythology, often representing the most threatening of foes. Their enormous size quickly conjures up images of superhuman strength and formidable abilities. Yet in many legends, the giant referred to as Nephilim, first referenced in the quest of Canaan in later generation, made an extended period of time, the military dispatched carbines, recon carbines.
Interview.
Furthermore, there are no prophets that know about it, he said. I mean, this isn't classified militants recorded in the Old Testament's Genesis and militants huddled together around a light high up in the mountains. All of a sudden, the heat signature stopped the soldier's position for a while before vanishing up a neighbouring hill.
So this isn't it.
According to the soldier, during which time he stated the giants tended there doing my thing and looking for stuff.
It's like, do you know what this feels like? They're trying to suppress this original interview because this should be quite easy to find. And yet they're literally, all it's showing me is people who have made a video on it. There's a lot of, there's countless channels who have made videos on this subject. But can I find the original interview? No, it's got to be out there. I've been looking today, I couldn't find it. Jane found the one with the music. If we can't find it, we'll have to just listen to the music one. But it's very frustrating, very, very frustrating. So, but we're gonna try and find some documents. Remember, this is a live research night. We're looking together. Now, there's a press conference from 2015 where they're talking about a Kandahar attack in Afghanistan, the actual military, but they're not talking about an attack by a giant, but they are talking about an attack. I just don't know what to think. I would say this is probably, there is a lot of truth to this, a lot of truth. I know a lot of people may think this is made up, but I believe in giants, and there's so much proof that there is giants, and the fact that it had red hair as well. Now, if you look at a lot of Afghanistan, Iraq, and a lot of Middle Eastern, Pakistan as well. If you look at a lot of them, they're the people, especially the men. Have you noticed how they get red tinges in their hair? I think that's the genetics coming down. I've never understood it because they've got darker skin, they've got black hair, but they often have red hair, and it's so bizarre. They get red beards, don't they? So I think what we'll do, we'll listen to the one with the music, if I can find it, and we'll have to just cope, if that's okay.
The other soldier recounts the story he heard about the Kandahar giant while
Just add live research nights. We're doing this together. So there are going to be times when I can't find stuff. It's either that or I do it separately and I do my own video. And, but I think it's more fun doing it together, doing it looking, as a group. It's more fun. Okay, here we go.
This opening of the cave. There's a cave as we're coming around. And then I see there's a lot of rocks, which is another oddity, and then bone matter. When I'm not close enough to identify what kind of bones, but I did see something I knew was a piece of our communications equipment. So instantly we're thinking ambush, maybe animal, could be anything. And there was enough room in front of this cave, but it had a sheer drop off. But there was enough room that we actually got into a decent dispersal in case of ambush.
You see something coming out of the cave, and it's moving with a speed and agility that catches you off guard.
Everybody. And he comes out. It was a man at least 12 to 15 feet in height. This is a monster. Red beard, then his hair was long past the shoulder, a scarlet red, and Dan runs at him and starts shooting, which broke all of us into the reality. Because it was
So
surreal.
now your training is kicking in.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
muscle memory, complete muscle memory. While Dan is moving at him, another bro of mine's laying down fire, and I start firing. He skewers Dan. He's now got him on this pike. It went through him. And he's still got him, and he's coming after more. We all just clicked in. I don't know what it was, but I remember we're all like, shoot him in the face, shoot him in the face. And our weapons components were in force. We had 308s, and we had Barrett 50s.
If you're just joining us, this is I'm sorry about all the sound effects. I can't do anything about it. This is the audio of the calling, the original calling to Coast. His voice is muffled. Obviously, he's used a voice muffler. He's giving his account of what happened. And remember, there's still an entire missing group of soldiers because the special ops team went in to find the missing soldiers and it killed one of them. And so there's that missing, there's that dead soldier, and other missing soldiers. And do you know what, right? I do believe that a lot of what they tell us about these wars are all lies. For all we know, that's why they were in Afghanistan. They were trying to do research and capture a live giant. We just don't know what sort of military exercises they're doing, especially in the West, but they're probably at it in China and Russia as well. But can you imagine if they could capture one of these alive? Now, for all we know, they have captured them alive. This is just one. We don't know. If they could capture these or one of these and experiment on it and reuse it to build super soldier. My voice is going to go. Sorry. We don't know what's going on. So they could be injecting their own soldiers with stuff. They could be creating clones of these. And it sounds out there, but they're doing so much dodgy stuff. I genuinely believe in clones as well. I think that's another one we should look at. But so we're just hearing this account now. So if you're coming in and you're wondering what's going on, this is the original call. It's excerpts of the original call to Coast of the Mr. K, who claims that he was witnessed this happening, and this giant between 13 and 15 foot. Just to add as well, Jane has joined us. So can we just all welcome Jane? Hello, Jane.
Hi, Penny. How are you today?
Getting there, my love. Thank you. I'm still not feeling right, but I wanted to do this tonight.
You sound a little better.
Yeah, thank you. How are you, darling?
Oh, hanging in there. Same old, same old.
Same old, same old. So yes, if we can all welcome Jane, if we can all hit the like button if you enjoy this content, hit the dislike if you don't. It gives me an idea, well, sort of, because the trolls hit dislike regardless, of what people enjoy the content or not. But all votes do count as a view. So, you know, even the trolls hitting the dislike, thank you for that, because it all helps the channel. Right, then we're going to carry on listening to this. Again, this is used under fair use.
The sounding longer than it took. We're talking 30 seconds. And he's taking multiple hits and is still moving. Dan was dead. Okay. And Wyatt is a good man, probably one of the best men I know, now dead. Before I'd left, they were already starting what they call a 9-line, which is a medevac request. They're sending out a medevac request, then all of a sudden it's not a medevac request. All of a sudden we had a helicopter show up because, like I told you, it was a large precipice and a sheer drop. So the helicopter just came up from the drop. They had dropped netting, which is like cargo netting. It's like squares. We were told we had to bundle him up. And we get another bigger helicopter, but it's almost like a Jolly Green Giant used to look back in the day that could get, you know, through this area. Because the mountains, you got to remember, Chinooks could only go in certain places because they had enough lift. And so we got him on there. The thing was too big. We couldn't move it. It smelled worse than a skunk. The corpse that's been around for a while.
Really fell.
Oh, it was like a combination because of the, how do you put that, the persistence of a skunk smell. But once the helicopter came in, dropped its little hook, and off he goes. The communication was sent out that we had a very large possible human creature. Of course we're upset. That's a given. Okay. We lost a very good guy.
So this is a drawing. I'm just trying to have a look now. Now this drawing, if you look here, it says 2005. So this must be documentation, because remember this is supposed to have happened in 2002. This call into the show happened in 2016, but between 2002 and 2016 there was already rumors going. That just topped it off for a lot of people. Now, we need to be devil's advocate here. This could be fake. The person who called in could just be some random nutter making it up or someone pranking. But it could also be the real person. But this here looks like documentation. And the date's on there 3 years after the event. Jane, just to quickly ask, do you believe this? Do you think there's a lot to this?
Yeah, I do think it's true. And why would this Mr. K have been on Coast to Coast and then go on this show? The guy's name that you're showing his video, his name is L.A. Marzulli. He's really big into Nephilim and things like that. He's Christian and he's looking at it from a Christian bent. But I've seen a lot of his stuff in the past just because I'm interested in Bigfoot and Dogman and red-haired giants and all that. So, but for this Mr. K to have gone on Coast to Coast, and then several years later, you know, we're talking maybe 5-10 years later, going on with L.A. Marzulli, I find it hard to think it's a hoax.
I do as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. I really do think there's a lot to this.
I do too. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know what people thinking in chat, and I do believe in giants anyway. I think we should, when we do the Middle Earth deep dive, we should possibly look at, you know, that as well, just giants in general and how they come up against this. Now, if anyone's ever I know this is going off on a bit of a tangent, but if anybody's ever watched the Godzilla movies, the new ones, I don't know if you have, Jane, and the King Kong, they expose Middle Earth, and I'm watching the new series on Apple TV, that there's like a series, Monarch it's called, and it's filling the gaps in of between the movies and the Godzilla movies, and they actually show you inner Earth, and I think they tell us stuff in movies, I really do. and they show that that's where the Titans, which is what they're calling them, these giant monster things, Godzilla and all the other things. Now, all they are is giant animals. There's giant worms, giant lizards,
Yeah.
and they're all they discover it in the earth, and they drill a massive hole and end up down there. And once you get down there, you can get out, but most people don't get out. So it's as though, like, if you watch the first new Godzilla, I think it was in 2014, they show little snippets of this inner earth, and they're sort of drip feeding us information. And I think that there's truth in it, and a lot of people do believe that there's truth in movies, and I think there is as well.
Well, Middle Earth back in the mid 1800s even, and I forget who the author was, but he wrote about Middle Earth back in the mid 1800s.
Yeah, there was hundreds of years ago. They taught it in school, and the flat Earth as well. They taught that there wasn't space. Even 100 years ago, they taught that we were on the Earth was not a ball. I've watched an interview with a lady who was like 102 in a care home, and she was telling that when we even see newspaper clippings of showing, they're talking about the Earth wasn't a ball. This is quite a new thing. And that they're taught in school that the Earth is flat, hence Operation Fishbowl, where the US were trying to shoot up. They were trying to shoot through the dome, but we're not taught about that. There's lots of things that they suppress history. I believe that whatever's up and whatever's down is not what they tell us. And I genuinely do believe in inner Earth. I really do. I don't know what's up there, but for all we know, there's just lots and lots of realms, like there's realms above, there's realms below, we're just on another world, but that's a whole new one. Okay, I just say nothing like Frank Skinner. It was all right to talk like that. Right, okay, we're going to carry on listening. Okay, here we go.
But add to that, you're discussing something that even in our after action report, they're saying rewrite it. And we had to rewrite it the way they wanted.
How many fingers?
Six toes.
Six toes.
And the nails were weird because if you see somebody that ever has, I don't know what it's called, but it's
like a fungus on
the nails, how they get pointy and they're like gnarly. That's what they look like.
I'm going to show you an artifact. It's a bronze artifact. We had it tested. It's about almost 98% copper, pure copper, but it's bronze. Does this look familiar?
I can confirm it was probably about a 10-foot pole connecting it, lashed, split pole, like I guess they would have done back in the old days.
Was it about this long?
Oh, easily.
So I think they're showing that this tip of his spear that he killed one of the soldiers with here.
Well, no, they found that, as LA said, in Michigan.
Oh, okay.
But the Mr. K is saying it's very similar to what the one that they saw there that was lashed onto a 10-foot pole. It's like a great big pike.
Right, okay. Thank you, Jane. So it was similar to that. And just to add as well, Bridget Blaine, I think you might be right. I think that Mel's hole will lead us on nicely to the Hollow Earth, Middle Earth, because I think you're right. And I think we'll do Mel's hole next, but apparently there's other Mel's holes. And don't discount movies. I know people laugh, but they tell us so much in movies as well. And there were so many movies in the 50s, wasn't there, that were all about Hollow Earth, like Journey to the Center of the Earth and all these films where they all ended up going to the middle of the earth, and then they just sort of suppress it, don't they? They then started doing more about aliens, if you remember. It was all like UFOs and flying saucers, wasn't it, to try and take us away from what's underground to what's up there.
Yeah, in the 50s. Yeah.
Okay, we'll keep on listening. Space Cat asked Jane, Who was it the interviewer was you asking about on Coast to Coast Space Cat? Ask Jane that question again.
Yeah,
I don't know if she can see the chat. Okay.
This was found in the wilds of Michigan.
Oh yeah.
We have come to call it the Nephilim lance. It is definitely not a sword. It's a pike. It's a lance. And what, you put a staff on this thing. Good luck trying to wield it. And what's interesting is the weight of this lance ties into the biblical prophetic narrative. Talks about the weight of the spearhead was 300 shekels. Talking about one of the giants. I think it was Ishbi Benob. The giant spearhead was 300 shekels. When you convert that to pounds, that's 8.5 pounds. That's what this is. Why? If people have a right to know about this stuff. I mean, if there are 15-footers or 18-footers roaming the planet and our military has brought them down, I mean, we have a right as American citizens. I mean, this isn't classified military stuff. This is something that we need to know, and it points back to the biblical prophetic narrative. What are your thoughts on that?
I think here's my personal opinion. My personal opinion is if it points that the Bible is accurate, they don't want it. If it goes against Darwinian evolution, it's not to be spoken of.
So you're out in the boonies running around looking for high-value targets.
Correct. Okay. And we're doing those operations, and as we're getting into firefights, we're getting into different scrimmages, you want to put it that way, we would come back to the base, and we started hearing this rumor about a unit that killed what they started calling this really tall person. At first, I didn't think anything of it. And come to find out that the person that they killed actually was 3 times the size of a man, had extra digits on their hand and digits on their feet, and had red hair. And a special unit had come in and wanted this target. Well, we'd heard that they had killed this thing inside a cave, or the mouth of a cave. And it was common knowledge among the military to hear this.
And when you say common knowledge, what do you mean? I mean, how does that work?
Years later, to come to find out, when I had returned from Afghanistan and had met other military members that had not been there in the operations with me, if you would bring up the Giant of Kandahar, they knew about it. When you first hear it, you're thinking like, this has got to be a joke. This has got to be a hoax. And then after things go down a certain way and you keep hearing it, you start to realize it's not a joke. They kept telling us to keep our weapons high, which means normally it's 2 to the chest, 1 to the head, but they kept telling us to put it towards a man's head and put it higher. So we would question, why do they want us to shoot higher than a man's head?
That's bizarre.
It is.
Our contact said 2002 is when they shot this 15-footer or taller, and you're now in this, in the service around 2005. This word has gotten out, and what I find interesting here too is that if you're going to create a hoax, I get that, but you got details: 6 fingers, red hair, double rows of teeth, 6 digits on the toes, and of course that brings it right back into what we hear about in the biblical prophetic narrative, specifically the Nephilim. Your thoughts?
I agree. I would tell you that when I was doing my time in the service, and the stuff I saw, some of it I couldn't explain, like lights in the sky during firefights, like orbs or lights that would be the size of a softball that looked that size, looking up in the sky but making weird noises. And even going to Iraq myself and being near Haditha Dam and seeing the prisoners underneath the dam, and the prisoners would scream, and there'd be this awful feeling underneath the dam, and then later finding out in the Bible that an angel's locked underneath there, where it talks about.
And this Haditha Dam is the Euphrates.
Is Euphrates,
and there's
correct.
an angel supposedly locked underneath the Euphrates,
correct,
which is released in the book of Revelation.
correct.
That's bizarre. So you're actually at this site, and soldiers are being locked in prison underneath the Haditha Dam.
Correct.
And they're freaking out.
They were freaking out. They said they could feel it. In fact, the people who would guard them they would draw straws to see who would actually take them.
No one wanted to go down.
Nobody wants to go down. Going back to Afghanistan, we would hear these things. We would hear the locals talk about rumors of these giants.
What would the locals say? How would they talk about it?
They say that they lived in the caves and they would eat people, and
They were cannibals.
they were cannibals. And we, at the time, chalked it up to our United States as Bigfoot. We realized that every culture had some kind of folklore, but to actually all of a sudden hear that a military unit had killed something.
What's this here? Look, it says interview with a. Oh my throat. Excuse me. Interview with the pilot. Let me just see what this is.
This video is what you are waiting for. The direct interview with the pilot who transported the 15 feet tall Kandahar.
So we're going to listen to this now, Jane. A pilot who apparently transported it. Have you heard of this?
I kind of looked at that one and almost threw that one over to you too. So
okay,
yeah.
Was he a giant Muslim? Who knows? Like, I don't think that giants would have had a religion. You know, religion is pretty much new compared to what we're talking about here.
Yeah,
we're going back too far.
And actually, Space Cat had asked me who this interviewer was, his name, and you had posted the link as L.A. Marzulli, Marzulli, and you can find him on YouTube. He's religious, and he believes that these are Nephilim, but he travels all over the world down into Peru with the red-haired skulls that they find down there too, as well as in the United States. There's the Indians have problems with the red-haired giants. They're up in Canada on the western side too. But he travels around. He will try to tie it into biblical and scriptures is the only thing. But it kind of fits sometimes, is all I've got to say, the biblical narrative. But that's who it is L.A. Marzulli.
Right. And does he work for Coast to Coast or not? Is he nothing to do with Coast to Coast?
No, he has nothing to do with Coast to Coast. He's separate.
Right, okay. I wasn't sure whether he was like part of excuse me, part of Coast to Coast. Okay, so let's keep going. So thank you, Jane, for your input as always. Jane is always very, very knowledgeable and helpful. Welcoming everybody. Oh, thank you, Julie. Yeah, if anybody wants to donate, you can. It goes to the animals, but if you want to, you can. The only other thing that it does help with is the StreamYard. So, and the costs, like the streaming costs. It does help with that. I would like to upgrade it if we could ever afford it one day to get the 1080. But at the moment, I'm just happy to be able to stream. So I want to say thank you. And to Jane for being a member. Sorry, Jane, what was you going to say?
Oh, no, I was just going to talk a little bit more about how Bandigan said, the Red Indians, the American Indians, the natives talk about the giants here too. And they were trapped by the Indians in the Lovelock Caves because to begin with, these red-haired giants are supposed to be cannibals. All right.
Yeah.
So they go after people. They're anywhere from 11 to 15 feet tall. So they're huge. They typically carry implements, unlike Bigfoot. Bigfoot doesn't carry around weaponry or anything, but these giants do, no matter what part of the world they're from. That's why it was important with that spear that he was holding. And there's stuff on the internet that you can find where it's photographs of these huge axes that only a giant could carry that have been found in America by archaeologists in the 1800s. And they're older pictures because you won't find them now, And then also they usually had some kind of coverings on their feet. So did this Kandahar giant. And a lot of times they will sometimes wear animal skins. So they're not hairy like a Bigfoot. They are hairier than a human, but they just like a hairy person, real hairy person. So anyway, just wanted to give a real quick overview on that.
No, thank you, Jane. That's really helpful. Really, really helpful. Thank you to Space Cat as well for the £2 super sticker. Thank you very, very much. That's very kind. Hello to Vicky as well, who does the membership. I don't know if she's listening. Hello, my love. I know you've not been very well. Space Cat's not been very well. Andrea as well, if you're listening. Everybody who listens but doesn't comment, we always think about you. And hello. because, you know, just want to say hello to everyone. Some people don't comment. I have people who comment under the odd live stream who've never been, they listen, but they've just never been in a live stream. Hello, Carlos. Hello, Dr. David Ball. How you doing? So we're going to listen to this. It says preview. We're going to see. I agree with that. Terry Knowles band again about the Smithsonian. I think that's another one we need to look down as well. James One, hello. I think that they have a lot. You know, every time anything's found, they come and nick it, don't they? Exactly. Yeah, lovely jubbly. But some people never comment ever, but they just watch. And then they'll leave the odd comment under the live stream. So thank you to everyone watching as well. You know, you could be doing anything and you're with us. So I appreciate that. And the replay crew. Okay, we're going to listen to a little bit of this. Hello, Jane. Love, how you doing? Jane F in the house. So it says preview here. So I don't know what this is about, but let's listen.
Our giant.
Back in 2005, I was actually stationed or deployed to Qatar. It was a completely normal mission for us. We were not alerted for anything abnormal. It was in the middle of the day. I remember coming into a base in Afghanistan called Bagram. Back in those days, it was pretty austere. It was an old Russian air base that we were using. It's basically built in a bowl in the mountains where you have to stay high right up in the last minute, and then you basically come screaming back down to land. The area to the side of it was called the Valley of Death because during the Soviet days with the Mujahideen, they had fired their rockets into a lot of the helicopters, so you could see all kinds of wrecks and stuff in the valley below, which for the most part I didn't pay attention to because I was a little busy getting the airplane on the ground safely. We landed and basically was told to taxi to the very end of the tarmac. And like I said, it was middle of the day, very hot. I remember that. We opened the doors and unloaded the equipment that we had brought in. And then we were met at the aircraft by what we later on called the babysitters. But they kind of introduced themselves and said, hey, no cameras, nobody's taking pictures here. We're moving some high-value stuff. When the load got there,
this is a drawing that we were looking at before, but this is more of the drawings. And if you're joining us, this is the pilot of the plane that carried. My voice is going again. Excuse me. Excuse me. Of the plane that carried the dead Giant of Kandahar back in 2002. So, and I don't know if this is an artist impression. I don't know, but it says it was 2005. So whoever drew this was in 2005. So
we're very, of course, curious to see what it was, because that's just the way you are when you're told that you're not allowed to have a camera. They say this thing had been dead for maybe a day or two, but it stunk. And when I say stunk, I've smelled dead things before, but this had a more of a, I want to say a musky stink, kind of a, not really a decay, but more of a, if somebody hadn't taken a shower in like 10 years type of a musky stink is all I can tell you. And it was basically a dead guy. And this guy was extremely large. And when I say large, our pallets are basically, if I remember correctly, about 9 by 12 feet or so. This guy was laying in a fetal position on the pallet. So he filled the pallet. We estimated his size at approximately 12 to 10 feet tall. I did see his skin color. I was expecting somebody of more Arabic descent, being in Afghanistan and all. I know he was dead, but he was very pale, very white. Another thing that us and the rest of the crew did was we took our feet. He was in a fetal position, so you could take your feet and put it kind of, you could see where his feet were there, and they were wrapped up. He did not have shoes on, but he had like, looked like he was wrapping them in some kind of a canvas type stuff. But we were sticking our feet up next to his feet, and his feet were extremely big. We know that the standard weight on one of those pallets is about 1,500 pounds, and I do remember that the loadmaster did the weights, and it was around 1,100 pound guy. The pallet sits on dunnage. You know what dunnage is? It's basically like railroad ties so that you can get a forklift underneath it and pick it up. So it was on dunnage, and basic dunnage is like maybe a 4x4. And then the pallet is say yay thick. It's actually aluminum and balsa wood. And this guy, I mean, laying down was very, very wide. I mean, and he was, like I said, he's in a fetal position, and you go up and you hit it, and of course he's under a tarp and all that, I understand that, but he was a dense guy. We questioned the babysitters of, hey, where'd you get this guy? And some of the Army guys that were with him relayed to us that this guy had, I guess, been living up in the mountains next to a village where the villagers basically treated him like a god. I did infer that they were making sacrifices to this guy because they said they found bones of people. The giant supposedly, like I said, I was not there, supposedly killed the first team that they came across. He was extremely big and fast and agile for a guy that size. They sent up another team, and when the second team went in there to get him, supposedly he had already started to basically eat on the team that had been killed the first time. They then grabbed a helicopter, and the helicopter brought him down where we picked him up. After we loaded the Giant, it was just a standard mission back. We took him all the way back to LUD in Qatar, where he was transloaded onto another airplane. I believe it was a C-17. I was done with my mission then. I got away from it. I was done. I did ask some questions later of, where it might have gone. And as the grapevine goes, it was probably taken back to the United States. And the words I heard were right, Pat. But again, I don't know.
That's right, Pat, in Ohio.
Wow. So I think there's too much. Is that in Ohio, is it? So I think there's too much, Jane. Do you? To be there's too hello everyone coming in. Hello, 69 likes. There's too much there's too many people, there's too many sightings. You've got the pilot, you've got the soldier, you've got the contractor.
Yeah.
It's
too much detail also,
Sorry?
Too much detail also.
Yeah, too much detail. And it doesn't all match up perfectly either. Like you've got one saying 10 to... Oh, my voice is going again. Excuse me. One saying 10 to 12 foot, one saying 13 foot. Now, if you're telling the truth, you are going to get like different accounts that vary slightly. But if you're making something up, it's all going to be the exact same story.
True. Very true. Because, you can... Two people can witness the same situation and each will come away with a different description.
Yeah, because if he looked 13 foot to 15 foot, but then they actually measured him when he was lying down. So you can estimate, if someone stood there trying to kill you, you can estimate he looks about 13 to 15 foot. Yeah.
Yeah, he'd probably look 20 foot to me if he was trying to kill me, quite frankly.
Yeah. But that was when they actually got his body and measured him. He was actually 10 to 12 foot. Now, I'm not, I don't know, I haven't deleted it, but the stream, I'm not having anybody up. It's not a call-in show. I'm going to get off in a moment. I'm not very well. I just wanted to cover this tonight. I'm not having a call-in show. It's like 10:15 here. I've not even eaten anything yet today. So I'm going to have something to eat in a minute. Oh God, yeah. I wanted to cover this and like look a little bit more into it, and then I'm probably going to go for another 15 minutes.
Yeah, well, the 6 fingers and the 6 toes and the double row of teeth, which is very prevalent with these sightings of these, whatever you want to call them, giants.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, you wondered about the double row of teeth.
Yeah.
But I will tell you something completely crazy. When I was, whatever age you lose your bottom teeth, 5 or 6 years old, and the 2 bottom teeth in the front, and I had a sore throat, and my mom wanted to look in my mouth to see my sore throat, and I didn't want her to. And so she said, open your mouth. So I opened my mouth, but I stuck my tongue back there, curled it back so she could see down my throat. And she said, what on earth? and my permanent teeth were growing up behind my baby teeth.
That happened to me. I had to have them
There,
removed.
see, there you go. And so, she took me into the dentist, and he said, "Well, this won't be anything." And we grabbed hold of him, and he yanked, because we tried for a week. They were supposed to come out, but they wouldn't. And so anyway, the dentist yanked on the baby teeth, and he said they wouldn't come out. And so he actually had to numb up my gums, and he had to pull them out, and they had roots on them.
Yeah, I had the
Yeah.
same, Jane. I was told by the dentist that I had a crowded mouth, and I had to have at least 12 baby teeth out. And actually, I had to have some adult teeth out as well, because I had to have 4 adult teeth, because there wasn't any gaps and they wouldn't move.
Yep. Yeah, I have a very small mouth myself.
Yeah.
And when I go to the dentist, they have a hard time getting back into it. And I've lost teeth in the back just simply because I can't even get that back there to brush them. It's so tight.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? So yeah, so I get you, and I've still got one that come through behind my teeth, and it's still there, and it's just sat
Really?
behind slightly, yeah. And they did give me braces, and it's not as far back as what it used to be, but it's also not in line. And they said I could have an operation. And when I was younger and I was a teenager, my mother said, "Do you want it?" And I says, "No, I don't want an operation." And they said, "Right, okay, just leave it, just make sure you keep it clean." And that was it. So
Wow.
yeah, I was just told I had a crowded mouth and a small jaw.
Yeah.
But there's actually a photo. Now, the fact checkers have fact checked this as fake, right? So this photo here, this is and then can you see this?
I see it.
Yeah. So this was fact checked as fake. Okay. Now, again, who fact checks the fact checkers? That to me, that doesn't mean anything, that it's fact checked as fake. It might be fake, but it might not be. Well, I don't know what you think, Jane, but it does look pretty excuse me.
It looks good, but I think it is an illustration that they've done.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It does look
But,
good, but who knows?
but the dimensions wouldn't be that far off.
They wouldn't. And the thing is, this giant was actually apparently there's been sightings of him way before this with the Americans. It isn't like a new thing.
Well, yeah, and that Afghan giant that in Kandahar, I had heard reports where the villagers were actually knew it was up there.
Yeah,
I knew there were some of them up there in the caves, and they would sometimes take animals up for sacrifices.
Probably humans as well, to be fair.
Yeah, it could be that too. Yeah, exactly.
Like any wrong guns, then they ended up getting, put in something. There's a couple of other images. Let me just show you this other one that I've got up at the moment. Just grab this. You see, and remember that people that say that these pictures are all fake, there's photos of giant people that were really tall. They were like, there's 8 foot tall people. Now that one looks real as well to me.
Yes, that one does too. That one really does to me.
Yeah, it does. But there's actual photos and there's proof, there's video footage of in the Victorian days. For example, in England and in America, there's people who were 8 foot tall. And you don't get them that much now because they're breeding it out. But there is giantism. I went to school with a girl, and she was when I was 12, she was size 13 shoe. I don't know what that is in an American size, but that's bigger than the average man. She was over 6 foot tall, and she was really wide as well. She wasn't just tall, she was wide. She was huge in every way. Her hands were massive. She was just massive. Everything about her was massive. And she had giantism. And look at Andre the Giant as well. These people never tend to live that long, do they?
No, they really don't.
which
But
is a
they have a lot of. The thing that's different about these red-haired giants is a lot of people with gigantism tend to have some physical difficulties,
yeah.
and whereas these giants don't seem to have those type of problems.
I think that's because they're the original, where the people that have got the physical difficulties, I believe, have been bred with normal humans
No, that's possible. That's
over
possible.
time. So they've
Yeah.
become like mutations, should we say? And then they've had to, you know, the way like you have to breed stuff out. You have to, you know,
Yes.
when someone first becomes something like with the dog, until they breed out they have to do like so much breeding. And I think that they were doing experiments and they were breeding these giants with normal sized humans, and that's why they ended up with all these difficulties, because these giants were original giants, you know.
Yeah. Well, and that's the same with the Bigfoot, where they've done some of the DNA studies, and the maternal DNA is human,
Yeah,
but the father DNA is unknown. So,
yeah,
like, they might be that's the original, but yet somehow they were bred with humans along the way.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
There's another one here now. This is Afghanistan this photo was taken in 1923, and this was apparently confirmed. There's a lot of pictures like this that were really old photos that, you know, someone's had
Yeah.
the original. Now, if this is real, which it does look real, then that is that, and this isn't something that's just appeared on the internet either. This has been going around for years. These photos have, before people started making pictures on the internet.
Oh,
Uh,
yeah. Yeah.
so it does look pretty good if it is real.
And there was so many bones of people that were over 8 feet tall, sometimes 10 to 12 feet tall, that were found here in America,
Yeah,
and they were turned over to the Smithsonian back in the 1800s, because people thought, well, you turn them in and that's a science place and they'll
yeah,
display them and everything. And those bones always wound up missing. Nobody's ever found them again. They'll talk about the donations in papers, in the
mm,
local papers, so they know that this happened, but there's
never
no
see
bones of
them
the
again.
Smith.
No,
Yeah, yeah,
never hear from them again, do you? The Smithsonian take them, and
yeah, and
that's it.
yeah, yeah.
So there's a lot of interesting stuff going on here, but I don't know what people believe. This
I
this
don't.
was
People are
correct.
talking about air fryers and hash browns and potatoes right now in chat.
Are they?
Yeah, I'm afraid we're boring them.
Oh no.
Are we boring you guys?
Oh, Jane asks a question. Didn't
Oh,
that bloke who played Jaws in one of the Bond films suffer with some sort? Yes,
yes,
giantism.
yes, he did.
Yeah, and look at Oscar. He's a giant rabbit. He's got giantism. And giant rabbits don't live as long as normal sized rabbits, because at some point they've taken an a giant there's obviously been a giant rabbit somewhere originally in the wild, hasn't there? And they've taken it and they've bred with normal rabbits to create these
Hmm.
giant rabbits. Now, I believe that at some point there was huge animals who were a lot bigger than what they are now.
I
There
agree.
there was probably rabbits the size of us.
Well, and so is plant life, because even with the geologists that go back and they take samples of, the ground, the earth, so that they can find out things, they know that at one point there was more oxygen in our atmosphere than there is now.
Yeah,
And the more oxygen meant that, the plants were bigger, the people were bigger,
yeah.
the animals were bigger, everything was much bigger because there was more oxygen, more carbon dioxide, for the exchange.
That's why they want
Yeah.
to get down, don't they? They want to get the carbon dioxide down because they don't want all the oxygen. Because it's spot on. And again, you've got Land of the Giants, again, one of these 60s shows. And I think there was so much truth in these shows and these movies.
Oh, I used to watch that.
Did
God,
you?
take
I
me
loved it.
back. Yes.
I
Yes.
loved it. But if you think about it, like, how did they end up with giant? That just one example, giant rabbits, right? Now, Oscar is a giant, and if you look into it, that it's got giantism. But if you try and look into the origins of giant rabbits, you will just see that there was one somewhere once that was giant, and they bred with it. But what are the chances of finding one big rabbit? So he would have been bigger than Oscar.
Right.
Oscar is the result of generations, or however long, excuse me, how many hundreds of years of breeding these massive ones with smaller ones. Then you end up with what we today see as giant, right? We
Yes.
today see Oscar as giant, but at some point there would have been massive rabbits the size of us, and I genuinely do think you're onto something, Jane. But everything was bigger, and they don't want that. They want us to be small. They don't want us to have a lot of CO2 and a lot of oxygen. They want us to be tiny, and who knows? I think that's why they want our DNA as well, so they can have a look. Oscar's everything's inbred though, Dross. Everything is inbred at some point. Hello,
and Nanny L said they weren't being bored, they're multitasking.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I don't see a lot of chat. I catch the odd thing anyway.
Okay.
Crossing with kangaroos. No, they're definitely rabbit. Hello, Matthew. Matthew is very knowledgeable as well, by the way. Don't upset Oscar. He'll come for you. I'm going to start holding my breath after my dinner. I don't know what I've missed, Nanny. Are you okay? The toilet issues, I know, Space Cat, can you imagine? But I genuinely believe, and again, you can laugh, that beyond Antarctica, there are other worlds, and I think that they are there. We're told that Antarctica is the bottom of this ball that spins, and that's it. But what if they're lying? What if yeah, you can get to. I look at my rabbits. I've had one that was barely 900 grams. Scooby-Doo was tiny. You goes the other way as well. I think there was pixies and fairies and stuff as well. Jane, what do you think on that?
Oh, I think so too, most definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're especially prevalent. Stories about them in Kentucky and Tennessee, around the Appalachian Mountains. Yeah.
And all we are is like really all of us humans today, modern humans. I think the thing that where we come from apes and that, I think it's all tosh. I think it's just made up crap. Yeah, going back to the Antarctic, I think there are if you forget what you're told about this spinning globe, I'm just reading Matthew's message. Yes, I do. If you read, if you just forget the spinning ball thing and imagine that we're just on one big land, and there's a hollow, and whatever's above we don't know, but there's stuff below and above. And if you look at it, and there's a massive ice wall at Antarctica, you cross over that, we don't know what lands are there. There could be anything there. The giants could live beyond there. The a whole entire, we are literally, I think, some sort of experiment. Hello, Jcraft. Like literally some sort of experiment, the human race are, and that's why they want all our DNA to see what we've got, you know, what but I don't believe the monkey stuff.
I don't either. I don't either, Penny. Yeah.
I think it's all tosh.
I think so too.
I really do. I'm going to have pop for a wee. I'm going to, if anyone's got any questions, feel free. Hello, Jimmy Fandanger. I love saying your name. We're back in a sec. Yeah, there isn't. I think what I'll do, I'm going to do a show on flat Earth at some point because I haven't done one for so long. But it's going to be done in the same way I've done tonight. No debates, no call-ins, just me presenting documents, information that I found, just like I'm going to do a Hollow Earth one. I'm going to do one for flat. Well, to me, it's not flat. It just means it's not spinny. It doesn't mean it's not round. It doesn't mean it's not square. It just means, and I think we need to go down these rabbit holes. Yeah, we'll do one for the Matrix as well. I do like doing these live research. Right, I'm back in a sec. I'm just going for a wee. And any questions? Jane is on hand. Thank you, Jane.
Oh, no problem. Yeah, Dino, I find it strange also that all over the world it's the same description with the awful smell and the red hair, and they love to eat humans. It's just too much of a coincidence for me. But then there's also Bigfoots by various other names all over the world too, and that are seen, which is, why does that happen? If it's myth, if it's just a myth. And honestly, so the same goes for dogmen, pixies, little people. I find it very hard to believe that it can't be real. Yeah, what is real and what is the truth? That's hard to tell. Truth is how are we here or in the Matrix 3D? Now, I don't have any opinions about the Matrix or 3D, so that's going to have to be where Penny says something. DNA is to broadcast direct to your brain, I think, not Brian. DARPA and InfoWars. Yeah, DARPA is the Black Ops, and goodness knows what they're doing in all their little programs. Apple crumbles. We're back on food again. Yeah, I don't know if we're watching a B movie rerun. No, I don't think so, Blackjack. Hi, how you doing? Howdy. Um, How about a giant race? I think there are a race of giants, Jim Dandy. I really do, Alan Edge. I really do think that there are. That's my opinion. Just as there are Bigfoots and just as there are Dogman, I do think that there are Dogman too. Yeah, Paz did see a Bigfoot. No, he didn't piss himself dress. Now, I thought you were going to be good. Fee-fi-fo-fum, you don't want a giant after your bum. No, no, you wouldn't, Alan Edge. Space Cat, is this just fantasy caught in a landslide? Okay, we're doing music here, I can see. Is it a square world? Who knows what the shape is? I doubt it's square. But, Penny has her opinion on whether we're on a spinning ball or not. She doesn't quite know what the shape is, not to put words in her mouth, but she doesn't think we're spinning, that's for certain. Excuse me. No mass debating. It's not so much that, is that sometimes when so many people come up and they have their opinions, then arguments can ensue instead of sitting up here and actually discussing a topic and keeping it on topic. And that's the only problem with that. And I think that's why Penny uh, likes to do it this way, and I agree. Hi, Jane. You notice how nearly all cryptids have excessively long arms. Yes, they do, Matthew Scattergood. I had not thought about that, but they really do, don't they? They really do. Has any of you ever heard of what's his name? Thinker Thunker? And Thinker Thunker actually did a proportional breakdown of how cryptids are proportionately different in their lengths of their legs and torsos and arms than humans. It's quite interesting. I don't know if any of you have seen it. It's by Thinker Thunker. Are you talking about the Bigfoot dress? Okay. Um, Hi, James. One, how are you? Duck race? I don't know. I don't think we're duck racing today. What's it, Berkeley? I don't know what you're talking about. Jane will take over this channel soon and make it American. No, dress. I will not. Are you kidding me? Hi, Aqua Eyes. The furry family have massive King Kong long arms. They are ancestors, I swear. Quite possible. Hi, Elaine Bynes. If we came from apes, why are there still gorillas? I agree. I'm not really sold on the Darwin. I never have been. Space Cat, I'm just a poor boy. Okay, Space Cat's doing music. Jane F says, Jane, there are a lot of unexplained sounds and sightings at Cannock Chase Forest, not far from me, like a pigman, black-eyed children, and UFO phenomenon. That's frightening. That is terribly frightening. A pig man. I've heard of a bear man, but I've never heard of a pig man, and I've heard of a goat man, but not a pig man. That would be frightening. Black-eyed children scare the crap out of me. Obviously, a UFO phenomenon. I know that happens. Dino, Jane didn't some U.S. Hi, I'm going to finish one question if you don't mind, honey.
No, you carry. I'm just letting you know. Carry on.
Okay, didn't some U.S. Marines or Special Forces kill the Giants of Kandahar? Then the U.S. government transported over to the U.S. Yes, that's exactly what happened, Dino. Yes, it was a missing group, a unit of Army soldiers that went missing, and they sent Special Forces out to find out what happened. One of the Special Forces guys was killed, and then they airlifted the Kandahar Giant to probably the United States. Some are saying Wright Pat, which is in Dayton, Ohio, which is just west of me. But anyway, okay, thank you.
You're good. Yeah, the black-eyed children. Yeah, we've covered that, but it'll be something we will cover again in the future. Me and the hidden underbelly. I don't know if you know who that is, Tempe, but we were going to do that a couple of years ago, but I broke my toe and underbelly got sick. Oh, sorry, I had to go into hospital. So we didn't end up going. James, you wasn't with us then. This was this was 2021, I think. I don't think you were with us just before. Yeah.
Yeah, that would have been just before. Yeah.
Me, Underbelly, and Paz. We were booking a travel lodge, like a motel, what do you call it? And we were going to go around. It's okay. Well, the replay will be there. The replay will be up. Tempe. And we were going to go and just because it's a massive forest and there's so much stories about black-eyed children being seen like ghosts, and we were going to go and investigate. We're going to get some t-shirts made like the Scooby-Doo Club, and it was just going to be and I broke my toe, which is what I used to break my toe all the time, broke my toes because of my vitamin D. But yeah, it's one thing I want to do. I want to go and have a look around there. I'm not scared.
Black-eyed children frighten me. Now, I don't know. Supposedly nothing happens if you don't invite them in, like they knock on your door or something. But what would I wonder what would happen if you invited them in?
So I'm just laughing at Alan Edge threesome. Me, Paz, and the Belly in the woods. Well, they're in the woods, you see, Jane. We could do a show at some point where there's people that have seen them and they say they've took photos. 2 children apparently got killed or something. I think the story is. Underbelly knows more than me. And they've been around this woods, this forest in Cannock Chase, which is a big wooded area.
So basically bad things happen if you get around them.
Yeah. So we were going to go at Halloween and run around like loons. Oh, well, thank you, Matthew. Matthew, you've been with me from the start, haven't you? I think you came from my other channel originally. I actually met Jane on another channel. Hello, Yvonne. It's so many, you know what? This channel's so frustrating, right? They're messing with the views, Jane, to the point where, you know me, I don't care about views, but it becomes a point when I'll finish an hour and a half stream and we've had, for example, 150 people watching the last stream live.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of the stream, with 102 likes and 150 watching for majority of the hour and a half, it said I had 47 views.
What?
And it should have over about 1,500. And even now, 3 days on, it's just reached 800 or something stupid. Now, they do it all the time. I don't know why they suppress the views on this channel. At the moment, this is live now. This is live updates, right? This is from my studio. It's saying we have 90 live viewers and there are 50 views in total right now. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Right.
It's here on my screen, and this is live. This isn't like a delay.
Right. Right.
So
Well,
this,
I could see the 90 right up at the top.
yeah, it says
Yeah.
50. So 50 views. It's like when
Well,
Underbelly
of
went
people
live
watching.
today.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Of the people watching, yeah.
It's crazy. He had like between 66 and 27. And he's got over 1,500 views. You know, like I don't care about views, but when they're doing this to me, it does make me wonder why. You know,
Well, they were messing before, but I thought they'd, laid off for a while because you hadn't mentioned it, but obviously not.
it's so weird. Is there a book? There is, Jane. There is a book. I don't know. Tempe. Hello, Sawan. How are you? Good to see you. Oh God. Oh, it's really bizarre. I don't know, Jane. I don't have a clue. But
Well, they might mess with the numbers on this channel simply because isn't this your monetized channel?
yeah, but you'd think that if anything, they would do the opposite because they're making money off me, aren't they?
Well, if I don't know, and for some reason they're just not liking your content, so that's why they're doing it.
It's really weird. They always do it to me. Don't know
Yeah,
why.
yeah, they do.
So yeah, live numbers at the moment. We're now on 54 now with 94 live watching and 80 likes. So thank you everybody. It'll go up again after, but it won't go any more than about 500.
If it only shows 10 likes, Alan Edge, it's because you need to refresh.
Yeah, there's 80 likes.
Yeah.
My dad's getting stronger every day. I am going to be making a video on the other channel as well, just to address a few stupid things. There are some new rules coming into YouTube soon. I think it's next week about bullying and lying and so on. And I'm hoping it puts an end to a lot of these trolls, because there are some really funny trolls on YouTube that have banter, but there's some really evil ones. And one of the rumors now, Jane, is that I faked my dad's heart attack, they're saying, and he was out within a week, and that I set up a GoFundMe apparently for my dad's heart attack. So I'd like to see evidence of this.
Yes, that'd be interesting to see, wouldn't it, since it never happened.
And he was in hospital for 8 weeks, not a week.
Yeah, I mean, what kind of a person would you be to make up such a story about your father who you love?
And also, I had the phone call while I was live.
Yes, you did.
I was talking to my family on the phone at the hospital, if you remember.
Yes.
Oh, thank you, Bridget, love. Oh yeah, the thing is, I don't care about numbers, but they're taking the piss, though. You know. I would like a UFO, maybe. Yeah, there'll be some UFO videos, Sawan. Ellen sent me one today, actually. But yeah, it's a bit crazy, isn't it? It's like just lies, Jane. And you know, sometimes I don't address trolls. You know that, Jane. I find it exhausting. But occasionally, you have to just and then you have to put a few things right. Thank you. I'm gonna come off now. I was just bought me some dinner. Thank you, babe. And then occasionally you have to put people right and then put it to bed, don't you? And then when people start running with the rumors again in like a year's time, you just point them to that video and say, there you go. I'm not going to address it anymore, sort of thing, you know?
Yeah. Right. Yeah, you don't harp on it. You don't obsess about it, and which is good because that's what they do. That's not what you do, because that's not, only nutters do that. I'm sorry.
I can't imagine being obsessed with
Yeah.
somebody to the point where, like, 2, 3, whatever years on, someone who never talks about you and isn't interested.
Yeah, and even when you do address them, Penny, you don't name them.
No, I don't.
No.
Oh,
no.
Julius, I never address these people. But I'm gonna. The only reason why I'm gonna mention it is because there's gonna be some changes in YouTube's term of service. You see, so I want to talk about that on my other channel, just so that people are aware of the new rules that are coming in. They're gonna be stopping all of this crap where people are targeting like individuals and repeating and just going on and obsessing. There's some really funny trolls, and you know, I laugh. And if a trolls clip me, I think it's hilarious. But there's some trolls that go real life and they obsess over one person for months, years, and it's not healthy.
No, it
It's
isn't.
not healthy at all.
But,
Is it, Candice? I bet you were seeing the same email as me then. Yeah, I've just renewed my membership, Terry Knowles. Sorry, carry on, Jane.
yeah, I'm interested to find out what these new rules are. So I'll be listening when you do that for certain.
Yeah, I'll probably do it in a video.
I think that'd be great. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll do it in a video and then I'll leave it up. But yeah, it come through last week. So if you mean Luke from Punch of the Narrative, is it not Punch the Narrative? What's his name? Punch Narratives, Julie. I can't remember his name, but I know what you mean. Do you mean Luke, as in the big channel Luke? The new rules, these new rules terrify me. Do you know what they are, Glenn?
They might Glenn. They might terrify Glenn.
Well, the thing is, if people, no, not break the
Well,
ice.
just because of
Glenn reacts. Glenn reacts.
Yeah, just because of the way Glenn handles things. Yeah.
Yeah. But the thing is, Glenn is a reactor. Glenn isn't an instigator. Actually, no, that's not true.
True.
You trolled me, and I hadn't instigated it to you. You trolled me.
Yeah, very true.
But you did look into the truth, and you did make up your own mind, didn't you, Glenn? So, you know, there you go. These people, they don't do that. You know, Matthew Steeples is finished. Is he? I don't know. I don't like him. So I'm going to go now because Al's just bought me some food and it's gone cold. It was going cold. So I want to go and have something to eat now, guys, if that's okay. Massive thank you to Jane. I'm going to go.
I'm not getting up because I'll be darned if I'm going to end this live stream.
Yes, Jane, I would.
I'm staying put.
I think it is to do with that. You did, Glenn, and I respect that, you know, like I really do respect anyone who does anything. You know, we all make mistakes. No one's perfect. I make mistakes. Look at me. I misjudge people but I apologized. You know, I've done the same. So we all make mistakes, mate. But it's when we own up and say, do you know what, I misjudged you. I messed up. I'm sorry. And then you move on, don't you, Jane? You know?
Exactly.
Like normal grown-ups do, you know. Anyway, I don't want to dwell on it, and I can't imagine spending my life dwelling on this craziness. I'd rather just move on and just ignore or just put an end to it. Life's too short. Can you imagine looking back, Jane, in 10 years? What did you do in your 40s, or what did you do in your 50s, or what did you do in your 60s? I spent it on YouTube. Making videos and live streaming about people that I'm never going to meet, that I'm never going to know, who weren't even responding.
Yeah.
What a waste of life.
Yeah. And
you've said sorry. It's all right, mate.
I know, it's really sad.
It is, yeah. Yeah. No, Glenn, you don't need to. Look, Glenn, you know, it's good. It's good. Yeah, exactly. Anyway, guys, we're going to go. I'm going to end the stream because I'm going to have something to eat now. So thank you very much. We'll be live again. Oh, gosh. Friday and possibly some little ones in between, but I can't guarantee anything. Thank you very much, Julie, love. I appreciate that. And thank you, everyone, for joining us. The next time we do one of these, I'm not sure what day, I will let you all know. We'll be looking into Mel's Hole, and then that will lead us on to Middle Earth for the next one. So be sure to keep the notification bell on, and if we can all thank Jane, that would be great. I know a lot of you already have, but thank you to Jane for her knowledge, as always. Thank you,
Penny.
Thank you, Jane, and thank you to everybody, and thank you to Space Cat for the super sticker. Oh, is that you, Jane?
That was me. It's not anymore.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, somebody decided to call in.
Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye. I'll keep a hold for access, Space Cat. Thank you.